So I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about our beers. We have 4 beers out here, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. The styles of beer that we do are mostly German or Czech style beers, Central European style beers, although we do a couple of ales as well. Our beers that we have here today are our Pilsner, which is our flagship brand, a Czech style Pilsner. We have Big Bark Amber Lager, also one of our big sellers. And we have our Hefeweizen. Hefeweizen. Can everyone say Hefeweizen?
Hefeweizen.
There you go. And we have our IPA as well. Does anybody want to hear anything about the beers? Well, okay. Most of our beers are lagers, or actually, as it turns out, since we sell so much Hefeweizen, about half of our beer that we sell is lager beer and half is ale. And the Pilsner is a Czech style Pilsner. We use malt. We actually import malt from the Czech Republic, from a small part of Moravia. It's been described as growing the best barley in the world for the purposes of malting. The malt that we get from there is made from an older variety of barley, and it's not made from one of the modern hybrid super duper varieties of barley. And they malt it in a way that results in what they call under-modified malt. And what I usually tell people is it's malt that doesn't work very well, but it tastes really good. And that's what gives the Pils a nice firm malt character, is the fact that we have to work that malt just a little bit harder to get everything out of it. And it results in a nice firm maltiness in the Pils, which is able to sort of provide a firm background or backbone for a rather assertive hop character. We like to hop it up pretty good. Comes out nice and bitter and crisp and clean. We use Czech Saaz hops, and they're a very delicate variety of hop, and therefore you can use a whole bunch of it and still get a nice crisp and clean finish out of it. Another lager that we do is our Big Bark. We took it from our Oktoberfest beer recipe. We toned it down just a little bit in the malt character and brought the hops up, and especially we put a little bit of hops in the middle of it to give it some nice hop flavor without making it very bitter. And so consequently the balance in the Big Bark is a little bit towards the malty character and not so bitter. The beer that is just going crazy right now, everybody seems to be drinking Hefeweizen. It's a Bavarian style wheat beer. It is actually, it's on tap on the inside as well as the Big Bark. Out here we have the Pils and the IPA. But the Hefeweizen is made with about 50% wheat malt, 50% barley malt. The wheat malt is what's responsible for giving its cloudy character. It's very, very lightly hopped. There's really very little hops in there. We sort of threaten it with a little bit of hops, but don't throw much in. And the hallmark of the Hefeweizen comes from the type of yeast that we use. This yeast puts out a lot of flavor. It puts out what are referred to as fruity esters. It's just a class of chemicals that the yeast make, in addition to ethanol, which we're all familiar with, and CO2 gives bubbles. But it also puts out these fruity esters, and the most predominant one is the banana ester. And so sometimes you get an aroma or flavor of banana, maybe bubble gum or pear, and it puts out another class of compounds called the phenolics, and they're responsible for the spicy notes in the pills. The most predominant one being clove, but you might taste vanilla or cinnamon. And so these odd flavors in the Hefeweizen conspire to give it a really light, refreshing flavor, and it's great summer beer, and we sell piles of it during the summer. And the way it's been going lately, more and more people are learning about Hefeweizens and drinking it all year round. But the hallmark of a proper Bavarian-style Hefeweizen is that it have that banana and clove thing going on from the yeast that we use. There's no fruit or spice added to it whatsoever. That flavor all comes from a very unique yeast that we get from the brewing school in Munich, Germany. The last beer that we brought today is the IPA. It's an American-style IPA, which means it's kind of over the top with a hop character. We use domestic hop, Columbus hop, and it's quite citrusy and way too hoppy, and that's the way we like it. Ours is a little different than some IPAs in that we have quite a bit of malt character in there, which gives us a sweetness that allows us to hop it up quite a bit and balance out all that hop bitterness.
Really?
If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Other than that, enjoy yourselves. And I really appreciate you coming out and supporting this organization. It's great, and especially braving this heat out. It's not easy. Thank you.